6B Champion, presented by Superintendent Chambers. 3.3 will be the proclamation to recognize August 21, 2025 as Fentanyl Education and Awareness Day, presented by the Superintendent. And then 3.4, military officials to recognize the school district's Purple Star Initiative and encourage support for School Board Resolution 25-07 in support of military-connected students and their families, and committing to connect military student and families to the resources and services they need to ensure a successful school experience as recommended by the superintendent for approval. All right, there are no administrative appointments. We have Section 5, public comment. Section 6, there are no committee or staff reports. And then we head into the consent agenda. 7.1 will be the approval. And then the items are as follows. 7.2, approval of the minutes of the workshop meeting of July 28, 2025. Minutes of the regular meeting of July 28, 2025, all recommended by the superintendent. 7.3 is the appropriation of District 1 School Board member capital outlay funds to Longwood Elementary School for a new front sign in the amount of $4,830.43, presented by myself and recommended by the superintendent. 7.4 is the appropriation of District 2 School Board member capital outlay funds to Fort Walton Beach High School for a front entrance signage in the amount of $8,646.62, presented by Mr. Parker Destin and recommended by the superintendent. 7.5, appropriation of District 3 School Board member capital outlay funds to Shalimar Elementary School for $12,145.56 for clear touch panels, presented by Ms. Linda Vanchek and recommended by the superintendent. 7.6, appropriation of District 4 School Board member capital outlay funds to Davidson Middle School for a lawnmower in the amount of $15,989.22, presented by Mr. Tim Bryant and recommended by the superintendent for approval.
Dr. White, if I could just
Yes, sir.
comment real quick. I would like to thank you and the superintendent for getting this on the agenda this go around. I know it was late, but I appreciate that.
Oh, yes, sir. And I know how important those lawnmowers are. All right. 7.7, appropriation of District 4 School Board member capital outlay funds to Bob Sykes Elementary School for televisions in the amount of $4,452.20, presented by Mr. Bryant and recommended by the superintendent. 7.8, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Blue Water Elementary School for office flooring in the amount of $9,612.75, presented by Mr. Brett Heinley and recommended by the superintendent for approval. Looks like we might have gotten some capital outlay funds replenished, huh? 7.9, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Edge Elementary School for cafeteria hallway flooring in the amount of $9,767.40, presented by Mr. Brett Heinley and recommended by the superintendent. 7.10, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Lewis School for clear touch panels in the amount of $11,517.55, presented by Mr. Heinley and recommended by the superintendent. 7.11, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Niceville High School for gym floors in the amount of $8,874.86, presented by Mr. Brett Heinley and recommended by the superintendent.
Okay. I see Mr. Heinley showing off a little bit there, but I did want to point out that it's only the first day of school and every single school board member has an item in this area. So that's exciting that we can do this for our schools.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, 7.12, tag on bid RFP 250604, custodial dispensing systems, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.13, tag on bid ITB 4126AH, small wares and small equipment, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.14, exempted purchase over $50,000 to Cognia, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.15, exempted purchase over $50,000 to Prisms of Reality presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.16, service agreement number 26-64, Allied Instructional Services presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.17, service agreement number 26-67, Synced Up Designs presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.18, multi-year agreement with ProCare Solutions presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.19, surplus of school buses presented by Mr. Ryan Gore, Transportation, and recommended by the superintendent.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I know Mr. Gore has his hands full this morning, but those 10 buses, do we know where they're going?
All right, I see a couple of our folks approaching the podium. Welcome, Mr. Meyer.
Oh, I see you. I see him.
They'll be added to the auction to surplus.
Okay, so someone's going to buy them?
We hope so.
Oh, okay. Now, do we have any arrangements? I know that we have taken surplus in the past.
We have.
People reach out for us?
Yes, sir. So some private schools, charter schools, other counties that do reach out to us, we work with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
And Mr. Meyer, before you sit down, just a reminder to the school board, as you well know, we used to have the oldest bus fleet in the state of Florida. We have approximately 160 or so buses out on the road every day. We have about 110 this time next year. About 120 plus of our buses will be new in the last number of years as well. I think we're close to the end of no air conditioning on school buses, so all of our school buses will have air conditioning. So we're getting to that point, but almost we're getting to the point where we have a complete fleet that's been renewed. Mr. Meyer and his group have done a great job on that update of the fleet, so everything's not done at one time. So when you get to a renewal again, it's staggered. But just appreciate what Mr. Meyer Transportation has done in terms of these school buses, and, which I'll talk about a little bit later, just being prepared for this first day.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And I see Mr. Gore out there, and I think that's a good sign if he's
Yes.
sitting in here.
So, Mr. Chambers, I appreciate you explaining the surplus buses to our colleague here. I will like to remind, I know Dr. White and I believe Ms. Ivanchek and I were on the board when our colleagues in Escambia County actually gave us some buses for like a really, really cheap price. I mean, just basically gave them to us. But now that Mr. Chambers has explained that we've updated our fleet, we have been able to pass off buses to some of our colleagues even within our county to help give them some more up-to-date buses. So I know I've appreciated that, and as a board, you know, we like to pay it forward. When we were helped a few years back, we've been able to help out others with their buses, so I appreciate that.
All right. Okay, thank you, all of you. All right, so now we're on item 7.20, budget amendment number 10, fiscal year 24-25, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.21, monthly financial statement for June 2025, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.22, invoices to be approved for payment, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.23, school donations presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
Sir.
point out, as I usually do on this item, we're at $99,340.90 since July 1st. So it was a great start. Two shout out, Sandestin Foundation 2000 to Destin Elementary, and the Plu Elementary Parent Leaders, $6,290.90 to Plu. Yep. So once again, our community does great work supporting the school district.
Thank you, Mr. Heinley. All right, 7.24, Okaloosa County School District 2025-2026 Pupil Progression Plan, presented by Ms. Holly 2, Director 1, and recommended by the superintendent. 7.25, contract lease renewal agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the Okaloosa County Board of County Commissioners for the Library Cooperative Courier Service, presented by Mr. Mitchell and recommended by the superintendent for approval.
If we could, for information for people that don't remember or whatever, could Mr. Mitchell come up and explain what that cooperation is with libraries in our county and the district?
Welcome, Mr. Mitchell.
Absolutely, happy to help. The Library Cooperative represents most, if not all, of the libraries in Okaloosa County that are a part of the Okaloosa County Board of Commissioners system. And what we do for them is they give us the amount that's listed on the contract, and what we do is provide them courier services, which assists them with what they would call interlibrary loan. So somebody needs a book at one place to the other place, we provide that transportation for them. We've been doing this now for at least 10 years, probably a lot longer. It helps them out because they don't have vans and they don't have drivers. It helps us out because it helps offset some of our fuel costs. And so it works out as a win-win for everybody. But ultimately, that's what we do. And we do those runs for them 2 days a week. We have occasionally done runs for them during the holiday periods, you know, like if we're off an entire week at Thanksgiving. Libraries are not off that time, so I'll have one volunteer and we'll come in and do it then too.
And what about if there's a book in like say Fort Walton Library that I'm at a school, do we do that too? Do we go to the schools to deliver those?
If the library puts on the packet that they need a book to go to a school, we absolutely deliver that.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for that explanation.
No problem.
All right, thank you both. All right, 7.26, agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the School Board of Walton County to provide ESE services to eligible Walton County students, presented by Ms. Kathy R., Director, and recommended by the Superintendent.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Maybe the soup can confirm this. This is the last year. I had a good brief by Ms. Ard, but I think this is the last year.
So, Ms. Art, if you'd come forward, we'd started a transition a couple of years ago to where the Walton students would be served by Walton County as well. You know, we've served them well over the years, but it's also in cooperation with Superintendent Hughes over there. These students will start a transition back. Ms. Ard?
Good morning. Yes, we have been transitioning the students back for the last 3 years. When we started this agreement, we decided to keep any student in the high school program or the postgraduate. So this school year, we have 2 students left. One will be graduating this year from Walton County, and then there'll be 1 student left with 1 more year.
Okay, that's it. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, thank you both. All right, 7.27, multi-agency agreement between Global Connections to Employment, Innisfree Hotels, the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services, and the School Board of Okaloosa County Project Search, presented by Ms. Ard, Director, Exceptional Student Education, and recommended by the Superintendent. 7.28, School to Work contracts between the School Board of Okaloosa County and School to Work providers to provide career experience opportunities to eligible students at Silver Sands and Richburg schools, presented by Ms. Kathy Ard and recommended by the Superintendent.
Dr. White, if I can comment on this item. So, Mr. Heinley, I know you talk about the businesses that actually give dollars to the county and the schools, and we do appreciate that. But if you look at all of the businesses here that are giving up, you know, an opportunity for these students to be able to come and work, that is priceless in my opinion. And we do thank all of the businesses that have agreed to allow our students to come in and get real work experience. So.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Bryant. All right, then 7.29, Memorandum of Understanding, Addendum for Read 180, English 3D, Language Launch Research Study with the Forge Research Group, HMH Education Company, and the School Board of Okaloosa County, presented by Ms. Elise McDonald, Specialist, and recommended by the Superintendent. 7.30, permission to open before and after school and summer daycare program at Elliott Point Elementary, presented by Scott Nuss, Principal at Elliott Point, and recommended by the Superintendent.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know that Mr. Nuss and his crew, they've followed our policies on this, but my question, and this might either superintendent or Mr. McGinnis, are there any legal steps we have to take with either the state or just in general to be certified with a daycare situation, anything like that? Or just because we're already a school district, we can do that? Just, could you clarify that, please?
Yeah, so Ms. Perry's coming forward, but Mrs. Perry has a set of procedures that any school that wants to be a part of this, that they have to go by, and Mrs. Perry and her group monitor this.
Right, and it's different, after-school care for the school-age children is different than the babies and everything. That's a different type of childcare. So
Okay.
we're allowed to do the childcare for the school-age children.
Oh, because we already have school age,
The
obviously,
kids
it's
are
the
already
same
with
students,
us.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we don't have to go through any,
Right,
setting
so
up
it's
a
just
separate.
extending their day.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. All right, so that takes us to 7.31, permission to open before, after school and summer daycare program at Walker Elementary, presented by Ms. Mandy Lopez, principal, and recommended by the superintendent.
I have one quick
sir.
question regarding these last two.
Okay.
I know Walker used to have a daycare at one time. Are we anticipating more schools maybe participating in this as a way of helping with revenue streams?
So I think there's more schools, elementary schools, that are looking at before and after school programs. I think also it's a means that at our elementary school, some of our families are asking for it. The military is also asking for there to be before and after school programs. I know our senior staff has worked with some of our elementary schools to ensure that there's offerings for that. There is an opportunity for revenue streams as well. But I think the big piece is to meet the needs of the families and the needs of the military.
No, I'm excited to see them come back, to be honest with you, because of that.
Absolutely.
There's a need for them.
And what about employees working at, do we have any of our employees that participate in this, or can that, working in that after school?
So I'm not aware of our employees who work in there before or after.
Okay.
Now, if it was an ed support person who has the ability to flex a day, potentially, but Mrs. Perry may have more information than I do.
Yeah, they actually, those are actual jobs that get hired. And
Okay.
they are our employees that are at the childcare.
Oh, wait.
But
But
they
they're
are
fu-
childcare employees.
But they're funded by the program, is that correct?
They're
Yes.
funded by the program.
Right.
Yes, childcare is self-funded. So they have to raise the revenue and pay their employees and all their expenses.
So we wouldn't have any employees in other positions that would, I'm just thinking, that after their work day, they could go and work there.
It just depends, I mean, possibly like a cleaner.
If there's a cleaner,
If
that would be
they're
an
something like
late in
opportunity.
the
that. Okay,
evening,
so
they
that would-
might be able to also be a daycare
Okay.
worker. No?
But again, on that part, like Dr. White just mentioned, that would be separate funding, what they're getting paid versus what they're getting paid as a district employee.
Yes.
That's all separate, yeah.
Yes, it's
got
all
it.
separate.
Miss Perry, or the soup, I might ask whoever can answer it. This is a great program that I know that there's a lot of parents that will take advantage of it if they know about it. Do we have some grace period that all of these programs will have, so that, let's say, the first year, it's like starting a new business. You got to give a little bit of time to get profitable. Do we have a grace period for these schools? Let's say if they don't hit their exact enrollment number for the daycare, that we then reevaluate after a year, and we're doing our part on our side to make sure that the parents know about it so that we can get the highest enrollment as soon as possible.
And before they even come to the board, they have already sent out things to their parents to see if they're interested. Because they first need to see if they have the interest to be able to start the program. And then we work with them, we keep an eye on estimating revenue. They're only going to hire the number of people based on the number of kids so they can stay within their budget.
I'll ask the question at the risk of sounding ignorant. Is this daycare program only available to students that are also enrolled in that specific school, or is it generally open?
No, it's just for that school.
Understood, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Perry.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like
sir.
to do a different perspective,
Okay.
a businessman's perspective. So when I first got here, I met with Dr. Hale, and I was against this idea, because I don't like when government, and we're a government institution, I don't like when they fund or try to get in and compete with local businesses. So this statement I'm giving is for the YouTube constituent out there, because it's not fair, because we're using tax dollars and whatever, because we have a facility. So it's not fair competition. So, you know, and I expressed that to Dr. Hale, and I said, man, I just don't like it. He says, well, it's a need. And so I started doing research, started talking to the ones that were in existence and the ones that wanted it, and it is a need. And the private institutions out there, we don't have enough of them, they don't cover it, they can't do it. So therefore, I've reversed my belief on it, and I think it's a great program. You know, yeah, we can get the revenue, but the revenue is not what we're looking for. Right. That's ancillary. It's the need. It's providing for that service. So just wanted to give that perspective out there.
Also, so if you have that student already there, you don't have to worry about the transportation of sending them. There are some
Exactly.
that take, so there's that change, you know, helps with the safety and also just the convenience of being right there in a familiar setting. So it's
Exactly.
all those items too.
So, Mr. Heinley, in response to that, I've been on this board where we actually have closed daycares, and that's not a good thing to be on, because like you said, you've noticed that it's a need, and when we had to close them down, that puts a burden on those families and stuff. So it's nice that we're actually opening them now. So,
And I'll say this, not to turn this into some sort of weird love fest, but Mr. Heinley, thank you for being a fellow colleague and board member that is capable of having a position and then receiving new information and then completely doing a 180 if need be. Because I have served on other boards where you have folks that just, once they've made up their mind, it's set in stone, and you have to figure out a way to deal with that. And so I deeply appreciate you being open and open to persuasion. It's very valuable. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate you saying that in public, because I believe my wife is watching this. So,
And Dr. White, to all of your points, and especially the latter, when some of these programs were closed, and we did have a number of parents who expressed concerns and interest of reestablishing some, and then the base commander at Eglin as well, saying it's critical to their mission. And so I do appreciate the number of schools, not just this year, but last year as well, who have started to add these programs back. And as some of you know, or all of you will know now, this is under the leadership of the principal as well. So it's it's something that is meaningful to the schools, but it is another responsibility for that principal.
That's a key point, Superintendent, and having had some experience with, I guess, the second after-school program opened in the district long ago, this is an example of where our government, if you want to, maybe as Mr. Heinley said, schools, actually turn into private businesses, because they have to make this work, and they have to fund it, because unfortunately, if they're not successful doing that, then this program will do what's happened in the past. So those principals and those folks at those schools are really stepping out away from what, as the superintendent said, is their normal job. And they've assumed additional responsibility and all the things that go along with additional responsibility. So they should, in fact, be commended. And thank you, Superintendent, for pointing that out.
So if this board approves these two, how many does that give us this school year? Ballpark?
Yeah, we can get you that number in a moment.
This evening, even.
10, okay. I was just, yeah, ballpark, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so that'll take us to 7.32. All right. It's a long one. Approval of agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County and PT Solutions Holding under the same terms and conditions to provide athletic training services and treatment through licensed athletic trainers for the period of August the 11th, 2025 to August the 12th, 2026. Presented by Mr. John Spolsky, Assistant Superintendent, and recommended by the Superintendent.
And Dr. White, if you don't mind, I do want to thank Mr. Spolsky, Mr. Humphreys, Mr. McGinnis, As you know, the athletic trainers, they've been an integral part of our OCSD family. They're hands-on during the day, working with our athletes, and they're hands-on at our sporting events. We did receive notice that the Andrews Institute had made a decision that they weren't going to continue that program here in Okaloosa schools. So Mr. Spolsky, Mr. Humphreys, and Mr. McGinnis went straight out to make sure that we still have these services for our student athletes. And we had an extension. Now we're working towards an actual agreement for the upcoming school year, and now another partnership with these entities. So I just very much appreciate the work. It was over several months in order to bring this to where it is now. So just thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, the agenda item in reference to, under the same terms and conditions, that related to the extension that the board had approved at the last meeting. The new agreement is in the agenda package and available, and the terms and conditions of the one-year agreement are those as stated in the agreement.
And colleagues, I'll share with you, I certainly appreciate the work that all of you have done, including Mr. McInnes, in securing this agreement. You know, I think that does this agreement stipulate that these trainers will be on hand at, for example, football games?
Yes, sir.
Right.
High school football games and middle school football games.
High school and middle school. And what I'll say is that I remember the days when about the best we could do was ask for an ambulance to be on hand. And unfortunately, often they couldn't. And so we had no medical personnel there. And we all know the situation with that. So the fact that we now have these is wonderful, and thank you again for getting this taken care of for our students, because their safety and their health is so important. So thank you for that.
So am I correct? And any sporting event, there's someone on that campus from PT Solutions?
So the high schools will schedule as they've done in the past, so the same services will be in place at the high school, but this will also include middle school football.
Football only?
Middle school football only.
Okay.
Contact.
But on high school, it's going to cover everything, basketball?
All the sports, but I can't, if there's multiple sports happening on one night, I believe those trainers go between between those
Facilities.
events.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
But I'll just add that without this agreement and without the possibility of employing our own trainers, I think we would be relegated back to the situation that we used to have, that we could just ask for an ambulance.
And you remember that as a former player, don't you?
A long time ago. I might have had one or two rides. All right. Okay, so now we go to Section 8, Superintendent's Human Resources, 8.1, Information Only, Employees on Admin Leave, presented by Dr. Hale. 8.2, Information Only, Referred Retirement Option, presented by Dr. Hale. 8.3, Cleared Certification Requirements and Issuance of Contracts for the 25-26 school year, presented by Ms. Duron and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.4, Out-of-Field Report for the 25-26 school year, presented by Ms. Duron and recommended by the Superintendent.
Dr. White,
Yes, sir.
the last two items that you presented, Ms. Duron's been very busy because we had a lot of agenda updates during the week, and they were all her two items. So as you can see, it's constantly moving. So, and we thank Ms. Duron and her staff for all that they do. So.
Yep. All right, thank you, Mr. Bryant. So that takes us to 8.5, Employment Separations by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.6, Personnel Recommendations presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.7, Employee Transfers presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.8, Employee Suspension presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. And then 8.9, Leave Without Pay presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. Okay, so that brings us to discussion. 9.1, Naming of the Ruckle Middle School Cafetorium is the Dr. Jenny Morgan Cafetorium, presented by Mr. Joe Genazo, Ruckle Middle School Principal, and recommended by Mr. Brett Hindley and the Superintendent for approval.
Can we have a little update on this particular person that's going to be named? I mean, I take pride in being on this board for 9 years, trying to know the history of Okaloosa schools, but this would be new to me, so I think the general public would be interested in hearing who Dr. Jenny Morgan.
Mr. Hindley, would you like to start? It's your item, sir.
Well, this was brought to me by Principal Genazo, and I know Dave Morgan very well, and knew his wife, and she was a principal, former principal at Ruckle Middle School, and has a great following, very dedicated. It's all in the memo, and I believe Dave Morgan's going to be here tonight at 6 p.m.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I'd like to add,
Yes, sir.
She was actually my principal, and
She hired you.
I think she may have hired me as well. But outstanding math teacher. She worked at the district office as well. But a principal, I would say, well beyond her years in terms of some of the initiatives that she brought forth as a principal during that time. You know, someone who was an instructional leader, someone whose staff would do anything for her. She pushed the envelope. She was instrumental also with the IB program at that time. That was at a number of schools. She was just a true educator. And if you talk to her teachers, which, if approved, and when this then would happen, you'll see a number of folks will be there to honor such an incredible educator. But I'll just never forget so many memories just as a new teacher with her as the principal. So this is I think this is a great thing for Ruckle and our school district.
And I knew Dr. Jenny Morgan, and Superintendent, you're exactly right. Highly dedicated, well-liked and appreciated by everyone else that I knew. And I would just add that her husband, Dr. Dave Morgan, was also a highly dedicated employee here at this school district and served as principal of Niceville High School, for those that might not know. So this will be an exciting event.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all. All right, so that takes us to section 10, construction program owners representative. Mr. Hindley, anything for us tonight?
Yes, tonight I'll have a report. I meet after this meeting.
Yes, sir. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we'll look forward to that. We do have a couple of action items there. 10.2, program number 6, task order number 22, time and materials, task order, district-wide ADA sidewalk and parking lot striping, presented by Dr. Smith and recommended by the superintendent. And then 10.3, TPM program number 6, task order number 46, pre-GMP STEM Academy cafeteria renovation project, presented by Dr. Smith and recommended by the superintendent. It takes us to section 11, our attorney's business. Anything today, sir?
No report today.
All right. And then superintendent, you've got some out-of-state trip requests, but also this is your time for information you might like to share.
Thank you, Dr. White and board. I do want to just point out the obvious. It's the first day of school, and many of us were out this morning already, and I'll say school is back in session because you could see the traffic that was there. The thing that I would say about that, though, it's pretty amazing that today in the car rider line, let's just say that it might take 40 minutes to get through. In about 3 or 4 days, that'll go down to about 20 minutes. So it'll be a well-oiled machine. I say all that to say as well, it's, I'd say to families, I'd say to anybody out in the community, just be impatient during this time. A lot of cars will be on the roads, buses will be on the roads. Also just want to say, and I said it a little bit last week, but just thank you. And it's thank you to what you've done over the course of the summer. As you know, a lot has come before this board and what needs to be approved, the least of which is a massive budget. But then there's also everything else that it takes during the summer to run a school district. So a lot has been done to our senior staff. They all have staff that's with them, and they have large responsibilities. And these are the responsibilities that happen behind the scenes, but if they do not happen, you don't have a school district that's going to be running the way that it needs to. So just appreciate all the work that's there. And to our teachers, our support professionals, our principals who have also been working over the course of the summer, and other 12-month employees, it's the first day of school. And it's an exciting time. And you see some of the little ones coming in this morning, and that's what it's all about. Up here on the diocese and out in the audience, you have kindergartners with families who are starting today, but you also have seniors. This is their last first day of school. And then, of course, you have everybody in between. But there's a lot of excitement that happens on this day and this week. But just like I've shared with teachers over the course of pre-planning, the feeling that you have right now when it's 2 weeks from now, when it's 2 months from now, remember there's so much more positive that's happening every day than the challenges. This year, one of our themes is be courageous every day, lead through the challenge. And I think that's very appropriate in where we are today in education. But the leading through the challenge is also finding the good in what happens every single day. So just have that reminder for everybody as we start the 2025 school year. Also want to say that we have a couple resolutions that'll come before the board tonight. We have a fentanyl resolution that will highlight the dangers of fentanyl, the overdose piece, but also the educational aspect that we need to continue to look at, not only as a school district, but as a community. And then we also have our military resolution. If you can't believe it, it's been 3 years since our schools became Purple Star schools. So now it's time to reapply. Mr. Spolsky leads this venture, and this resolution is part of that ability to reapply. We will have some military leadership here tonight showing that partnership and what we're trying to do for our students and their families when they come here to Okaloosa County Schools. And then the last thing I want to say before we have Mr. Dean come up on a little discussion on safety, there's a new program out there. It's called Support to Soar, and it's supporting our Title I schools specifically, and it's through our chambers of commerce throughout Okaloosa County. So from Crestview to Niceville, Valparaiso to Fort Walton Beach and Destin, and they are raising funds in essence to support classrooms to meet the supply needs of students and to meet even the snack needs of students. So it's just another example of our chambers of commerces and this community just going above and beyond to support our students and support our schools. So just very much appreciate that initiative. And then I'd like Mr. Dean to come forward. And Dr. White.
Yes, sir.
As you know, safety is paramount to everything that we do. And on this first day, there's so much that we can't share because it's a safety matter, but there are some things that we can share. And we talk all the time that safety is the #1 priority, and that's not a cliche, because without it, for our students and our employees, everything else is second. So I just appreciate what Mr. Dean and his team, what they do. And this board, I think you know, but if you don't, Mr. Dean is highly respected, not only in Okaloosa County, but throughout the state of Florida, serving on different committees, but just very much appreciate the fact that he's with us and he's doing what he does every day to keep our students and employees safe.
Good morning, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the board. It's an honor this morning. It's a pleasure to be up here as a part of welcoming everybody back this morning to a new and exciting school year. I just want to take a few moments to provide an overview of our continued efforts to ensure the safety and security of our students, faculty, and staff. The district's Office of Safe Schools is responsible for the oversight of all safety, security, and emergency management operations for all public schools in Okaloosa County, both district and charter. Our team is comprised of a highly skilled set of professionals with expertise in physical security, school safety, emergency management, harm prevention and threat management, fire and life safety, public safety, and safety and security technologies. Together, we're united by a single mission: to safeguard our school communities through a comprehensive and coordinated approach. Over the summer, we conducted an in-depth school safety and security briefing for all of our school-based administrators. This session ensures that our administrators are fully equipped and updated to lead a culture of safety at their schools. In addition to administrator training, our summer safety initiatives included a comprehensive school security risk assessment of every district and charter school in Okaloosa County. We conducted campus tours for public safety agencies that allowed first responders to familiarize themselves with school layouts, provide feedback on existing safety and security systems, collaborate on response protocols, and review and align on standard response protocols specific to school-based incidents. We conducted a family reunification functional exercise that was conducted with our district reunification team, and this hands-on simulation tested our ability to respond to an off-campus evacuation and safely reunify students with their families. Practicing this critical component of emergency response planning ensures that we're prepared should the need ever arise to carry out a smooth, secure, and coordinated reunification process. We facilitated on-site campus training opportunities for our public safety agencies, recognizing the critical role these exercises play in enhancing response capabilities and overall preparedness. By providing first responders with direct familiarity with our school environments, we strengthen interagency collaboration and improve the effectiveness and speed of emergency response efforts, ultimately supporting a safer school community. These proactive measures further strengthen our partnerships, refine our protocols, and reinforce our district's commitment to safety and emergency preparedness at every level. We are proud of our achievements, and we're committed to ensuring the 2025-2026 school year begins with excellence and safety at the forefront. We are deeply grateful for the dedication of our students, our families, administrators, teachers, staff, and community partners who share in the responsibility of creating safe, nurturing environments where learning can thrive. A special thank you to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office for their unwavering commitment to school safety. Their award-winning school resource officer program ensures that every school is served by a full-time, dedicated law enforcement professional. In close partnership with the Sheriff's Office and other local agencies, our Safe Schools leadership team continuously reviews safety protocols. All school employees receive annual training, and many undergo additional training as procedures evolve. Our enhanced safety and security systems and physical infrastructure exist as part of a comprehensive, multi-layered approach to school security. Our single point of entry at each campus ensures all visitors enter through a controlled access point during school hours. Our access control systems allow schools to better monitor and manage who enters and exits the building. Our integrated video surveillance systems are linked directly to the Real-Time Crime Center with intelligent video analytics, enhancing situational awareness and reducing emergency response time. Our critical response mapping is designed specifically to support first responders with accurate visual layouts of school campuses, improving situational awareness and significantly reducing response latency during emergency response. We have multidisciplinary harm prevention and threat management teams at every school to support both proactive threat management as well as early intervention. Our redundant mass notification systems ensure that critical information can be rapidly and reliably communicated to staff, students, and first responders during any emergency, even in the event of system failures, helping to prevent confusion and delays when every second counts. These measures reflect our layered, robust safety framework built on national best practices in school safety and crisis response. We use an all-hazards approach to emergency planning. Our comprehensive emergency operations plan is built around 5 core phases of prevention, preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. Each campus regularly participates in emergency drills that are tailored to the unique layout of student population of that school. All campus drills must begin with the clear announcement stating, "This is a drill." The purpose of this is to minimize potential distress and to ensure that all participants understand the context. This practice is essential in educational settings to prioritize student well-being while maintaining the effectiveness of emergency preparedness exercises. Our students, faculty, and staff are trained in standard response protocols as well as active assailant response procedures, and our drill documentation is closely monitored to ensure compliance. Effective communication with parents and guardians is our top priority. In the event of an emergency or disruptive event, families of the impacted school or area will receive notifications via the district's mass communication systems through phone calls and/or text messaging. While it's natural for students to reach out to their parents first, we ask families to remain calm and allow our school officials the necessary time to provide accurate and timely updates. In the event of a lockdown, we ask that parents do not come to the school, as in doing so may interfere with emergency response efforts. In today's digital age, where information spreads rapidly through social media, we strongly encourage parents and guardians to rely on accurate, verified updates from official sources such as the school district and the sheriff's office. These channels are committed to providing timely and factual information during incidents, helping to prevent the spread of misinformation and ensuring the safety and well-being of our school community. We are confident in our layered security systems, and we are committed to transparency and communication when safety events occur. All students are trained in the use of Fortify Florida Anonymous Reporting app. This is an essential tool that empowers them to speak up about concerns both confidentially and safely. We encourage families to discuss this tool at home and remind students of its purpose and importance. As we welcome the 25-26 school year, our unwavering commitment remains to provide a safe, secure, and supportive environment where all students can thrive. I encourage all parents and guardians to visit our district's safety webpage on the district website for more information, resources, and updates throughout the year. Together with the strength of our partnerships and the dedication of our community, we will continue to uphold the highest standards of safety and preparedness. Thank you, and welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Dean.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions, colleagues? All right, Sue.
Thank you, Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate it.
Dean. Very thorough, appreciate it.
And Dr. Hale, if you'd come forward and just give an update on where we are on hiring.
Dr. Hale's been busy, I know.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for letting me just give you a little bit of an idea of where we are with our hiring over there in HR, both what we've done and what we have remaining to do. It has been a busy summer. As of this moment, just from the instructional side, there are 262 new faces in new places. That is both new hires and transfers that'll be starting school today in a brand new place. Of those 262, 123 are brand new hires to the district, which means professional services, Sharon Duran and her team are going to be extremely busy because the bulk of those, over half of them, are career changers. And so not only is professional services responsible for ensuring their certification and also providing certification opportunities through our PLCP program, they are also responsible for making sure that these brand new teachers know how to do classroom management and do lesson planning and all the different things like that. Our consulting teacher program, Kelly Donafro is also in that department, ensuring some of these instructional strategies are deployed. And of course, Lisa Marshall, Rachel Money, and Suzanne Kramer are just very critical in that department, along with Meg Dorsey and Penny Palmer, who are our consulting teachers. They're very busy, and they will remain busy all year with these first-year teachers. So of those 123 new hires, as I mentioned, over 52% are career changers, that's 65 out of 123. And only 8% are brand new college grads. So again, we are continuing to have conversations with the local universities, different things to get teachers into the programs. There's some innovating things that we're going to be talking about in the coming weeks with Northwest, and of course we've got relationships with West Florida and some other universities as well. But right now that trend continues, that most of our new hires are career changers, people seeking a different career. And so with that being said, of our new hires, the average experience is 2.64 years. In other words, the 31% of teachers that transferred in with experience are also young. So there's a youngness, a youth movement inside our new hires. So with all that being said, I would just say, and we still have 14 that are in the process. So 123 new hires, 139 transfers, 14 have been hired or just kind of working through the HR process, and there's also 2 people out there that have been given offer letters that haven't responded yet. So out of all of that, there's still work to be done. We still have 24 instructional vacancies at our school. At our schools. That's across the district, all courses, all levels, 24, which is down from last year. At this board meeting last year, we reported 26. So we're a little bit better in that, or actually 29. So we're a little bit better in that regard. And of course, as you remember, last year at this, or 2 years ago at this time, we had 72 vacancies starting school. So we are progressively getting a little bit better. Now, I think it is interesting to note that of those 24, 10 of them are ESE instructional positions, which is, that tracks for the last several years. About 50% of our vacancies have been running in the ESE department, but a reduction in all vacancies, keeping that percentage means there's also a reduction in ESE vacancies. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Our high need areas in the instructional realm right now are in the ESE area. We've got 4 EH, 2 autistic, and 2 VE that makes up those 10 that we're really looking for. And the rest of the positions at the schools are kind of spread across all different things: high school, middle school, elementary school, various topics and grades. So there's no big single focus area other than ESE with regard to the ongoing vacancies.
And Dr. Hale,
Yes,
might
sir.
I just add that has been an area that it has always been a difficult one to secure folks in. And I remember, in fact, at one time, it must have been 20 years ago, it was so hard that the state even paid the tuition of folks to go back to school and become ESE certified. So I just wanted to put that perspective in place regarding these vacancies.
Yes, sir, and I do appreciate that. And I would just add one more comment to the vacancies. A quick scan this morning of the posted jobs, and of the 24 jobs, there's only one out there which was recently posted that have no applicants. So the principals still have some applications to work through. Obviously, they're going to be choosy and make sure that they have the right fit. But this time last year, more than half of them had 0 applicants. And so, you know, we're getting a little bit better there. Now, that's the instructional side. I will also, you know, our HR department's been really, really busy, and I'm going to specifically commend our hiring analysts, but the whole HR department has been just working really, really hard to get all of these people in place. And that's just the instructional. We've also hired 92 support employees this summer, 49 of which were paraprofessionals, which is it continues to be our biggest area of vacancy, but that's a lot of paraprofessionals. That's a lot of classroom assistants in classrooms this summer. And those 92 employees that we hired this summer in the support realm is almost the exact number at this time last year. We hired 91 over the summer at this point last year. As I said, paraprofessionals remain a high area of need. We still have 25 posted as of this morning, 23 of which are ESE. As we said, everything from regular ESE paras to one-on-ones and things like that. But again, as is always the case, our other 2 critical areas of support need continue to be, and you could say it with me if you wanted to, bus drivers and custodians. And so we continue to have those postings out there, although the total custodian cleaner counts 11 across the district, which is down from last year as well. So lots of transactions, lots of new hires, over 400 total transactions with support and instructional to include brand new hires and transfers, and that's not even to mention substitutes. Our roster is well over 650 strong, and substitutes, whether they take jobs or not, will remain to be seen, but we do have a good, healthy sub-roster as well. You know, Kat Santos, Janet Ward, and Kalinda Mercado have really been working hard on getting people in place this summer. You know, risk management has been doing a good job of meeting with everyone with regard to their benefits. Finance has been coordinating with our position control people. That's Renee Mayville and Donna Ward. Just a lot of activity going on, and they've been very, very successful. But one of the things that I mentioned at the last meeting, and I want to just reiterate it too, of the hiring analysts, the people that actually meet with every single person that comes through here, there's 3 of them, and 2 of them are brand new in their positions. So not only have they been working hard, but they've been getting some significant OJT in an intense way this summer. So very, very proud of them. And as I said, that's still work to be done. So that's where we are. I'm happy to answer any questions I might be able to.
Bus drivers.
Yep.
Bus drivers. How many are we short on bus drivers?
Well, the last count, I don't know the exact count. 30. So 30 bus drivers? So 30 bus drivers. And that's kind of a interesting way that we post those. We have one posting that would be for an entire site. So what would appear as one vacancy could be up to 10, 12, however many at that one site. So 30 bus drivers, which is 30 routes we need to be covered. We need to be covering, yes, sir.
And I think if you asked this question last year and the year before, that number is kind of consistent, where we're about 30 bus drivers short yearly.
But the good thing is that every child was picked up today, every child was delivered to school, and every child will be picked up at school and delivered home. So that's a testament to our transportation department for making it work, considering, you know, the vacancies there.
That's right. The coordination by the route coordinators and the management, like Mr. Gore, very, very significant, but I would also commend our bus drivers. There's a lot of them that are taking extra routes, filling in, sharing, partnering up with each other, and without those ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't do it. So it's really a good team effort in transportation.
Yeah, we also have teachers at schools that are
That's
hopping
correct.
on buses and helping
That's
out
correct.
too. So
Absolutely. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to you and your HR department. We saw them do some things. We were around this summer, so appreciate all that, and I appreciate those statistics. Thank you very much, and please pass on to them. I'm sure they're watching somewhere. How much we do appreciate what they do.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dr. Hill. Anything else, Sue?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, colleagues, so that takes us to board members' announcements and requests for information. So, Mr. Heinley, sir, I'll start with you.
Okay, I have a few things. First off, on that Purple Star designation and the military, the support for the military dependents. I was up at Meet the Band at Crestview High School with Mr. Destin, Mr. Bryant Saturday night, and I was talking to Vicki Hayden, the principal up there, and she had 20 new people come in that week to sign up for school, and the majority of those were military dependents. I mean, that's a lot of moving stuff, so our schools are used to that, handle it. I was Air Force brat, so I know how that rolls. You get assigned, you got to go and fill it in, so just kudos to the whole district for that. Also, a shout out to Sharing and Caring in Niceville. So I know she's going to mention Stuff the Bus, but Sharing and Caring in Niceville goes to businesses around that area, like Blue Water Bay Marina, and they've always collected money or supplies, and they give it out to the schools as well. So just a shout out to them for what they've done for many, many years. I'd like to also recognize, this came out 2 weeks ago, but Mr. Parker and I were gone touring the SS United States, but Niceville High School senior Avery Rittenauer has been named the Distinguished Young Woman of Okaloosa County for the class of 2026. She competed against 13 other high school seniors across the county, and she has received a total of $3,750 in scholarships. So good job on her, and we'll see how she handles it for this year to wear that crown. So good job. And to wrap it up, continuing my tradition, today is the 11th. So board members, who was the 11th president? And he's one of my favorite presidents. I'll just throw that out there.
That would be Polk.
Yes, James K. Polk. He did a lot to enlarge our country to what the size it is now. Okay. And for Mr. Destin, who was, so 11 plus 31 is 42, who was the 42nd president of the United States?
Would that be Bill Clinton?
That would be William Jefferson Clinton. You are correct. That's all I have, Mr.
Impressive, impressive. You good? Okay.
Good.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, Mr. Heinley. Ms. Evanche.
Okay. Yes. First of all, board and superintendent, I gave you a handout. I am designated representative for the Okaloosa County Value Adjustment Board, and we met last Monday. Typically, I just tell you that I met, but this is an item that does have some influence on the board. Now, the Value Adjustment Board, what we oversee is complaints or requests for adjustment for reappraisal of property or homestead exemption, something like that. But the main piece that we did is we took a vote, and it was unanimous, and I was included in that, to change the filing fee for this request from $15, which it has remained for decades, to it's now $50 for a filing fee. I want to point out that what I was told that the filers are generally not single home owners, but they tend to be investment individuals, and also those who are not even from our area that just show up and want to contest the values. If you look at the chart that I gave you, one of the reasons we voted to change it is you'll see the uptick in the number of filings. Back in '24, there were 240, and according to those that were informing us of this, many of those are what they are not calling frivolous, but are unnecessary and kind of just fishing. And when you have a filing fee of $15, remember it gets split between the county commissioners and the school board because we're a taxing agent. And so we end up paying, which ultimately is the people's money. So you can see now that it's going to be changed to the $50 filing fee for the individual filer. It's going to cost us a lot less on covering those because they have to go out and check it out and everything. So just wanted to share that with you, that we did make that adjustment. And that's going to be to our advantage and to the citizens because they won't have to pay as much. Any question? Okay. Thank you on that. And we'll meet again in December to finalize the year. All right. Okay, a couple of things. Went out to schools. It was so exciting this past week, first day of school. As you can all see, we are dressed a little bit differently today because we've made it a little bit of a tradition on the board, our first meeting, to wear the colors or the school shirt for the high school that we represent, as football season will kick off this Friday, Kickoff Classic. So we're all dressed in our attire too. And we've got Spirit, how about you? But I'll leave that for another time and everything as we move along. But anyway, we're excited and certainly want to show our school spirit. We go for everybody, but we also have our schools we represent. So I was out at schools. One thing of interest out at Florosa, Principal Massey has created a beautiful environment for her teachers in a professional learning lab. Many of the board members contributed to the Capitol to make that. It's fantastic, and I got to go out and help surprise those teachers with that. It was exciting. I want to talk about Stuff the Bus, which was in several locations, which our Public Schools Foundation works with. We worked with Salvation Army and some other entities and went to the Walmarts in the county. We were covered by Cumulus Radio and WEAR-TV, big coverage of this. And according to Debbie Tate, who actually coordinates everything, it was an overwhelming success. I've actually even seen them going by with some carts there with school supplies that they are still divvying up so they can get them out to the schools. So just appreciate living in a community or in communities where people will show up for our students. Overwhelming response, and thank you so much for that. In addition, I want to tell the teachers that the grants from the classroom grants coming from the foundation will be coming out at the end of this month. And don't forget to be listening for when we have the barbecue and bingo coming up in October. So great things happening with our foundation. Very exciting, all to make it better for our students. And then the other day, I know you're going to do a construction thing, but the other day I was coming back from Baker, meeting with them, and I took a little turn because I wanted to go see Pineview. And I got out there to Pineview, and they do have at least some things paved now. And I was kind of going through some's not paved. And I was the whole time thinking, oh gosh, please don't get stuck because I got to call Mr. Meyer and he's going to have to come up here and rescue me and he will never let me live that down. But it's exciting to see those walls going up and different things and kind of getting an idea what a fantastic campus that's going to be. And they were working hard when I went out there last Friday. So that was really neat to see. One more item, I'm very excited about a teacher at Baker, Keely Wickery. She is in charge of the agricultural program at Baker, which is really taking off. And she has been chosen of one of 15 teachers in the state of Florida, chosen by the Agricultural Commission. She received a letter from the Commissioner Wilton Simpson that she has been accepted into their agri-science educational leadership program for this year, where these teachers are going to be trained and given all information to take back to their students about the importance of agri-science in our classrooms. And as they pointed out, the agricultural profession, we have 300 commodities that we sell in produce in the state of Florida, employing 2.5 million people, and it contributes $218 billion to the Florida economy. So I'm excited. If you've ever met Ms. Wickery, she is as excited about this as anyone. So I know that this program at Baker is going to grow along with throughout the district, and it's going to offer these students who live in an area where they're even coming from a background of farms and agriculture, the ways to incorporate that into professions coming right out of high school. So congratulations to Ms. Wickery, and can't wait to see what she does with that information for our students up at Baker and the county. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ms. Evanchetti. Mr. Bryant?
Thank you, Dr. White. And I know Mr. Heinley just briefly mentioned about the Crestview High Meet the Band, and what a great night it was. It was perfect weather. Mr. Spolsky and his wife Bridget were there on behalf of the school district, and Jack Foster on one side was completely full with parents and people within the community that just love to come out and support the band. You know, we talk about it all the time, being an A+ district, and the arts is one of our pillars there, and just to see the participation with our band program, especially in the north end, where we have almost 400 students in the Big Red Machine, and between both of our middle schools, it's close to 500 students in the band. So not only is our band programs healthy, they're growing. So, but it was a great night, a lot of fun, and Mr. Destin and Mr. Heinley had the opportunity to see the last band member standing, and I think Mr. Spolsky, that was your first time seeing it too, and that's a pretty awesome experience right there. I would have been out before it even started, just because it's that difficult. So, and but it was a lot of fun. Also, you know, we talk about people within our district who have important jobs. Over the last 2 weeks, as you know, all of us were visiting schools and just getting to talk to employees, especially a lot of our 12-month employees. The last 2 weeks, our bookkeepers have been having their audits. So I had the pleasure of talking to several bookkeepers within the District 4, and you know, there was a lot of relief because all of them that I talked to, with the exception of one, have already had their audits. But those of you that were principals or had something to do within the school, you know how much those bookkeepers are important to helping you keep sane and make sure the dollars are flowing correctly and all that. What people don't understand is how much they have to keep up with funding and where it goes. It's just not, here's $100 and it goes right into the account. You know, there's a lot of categoricals there. They have to make sure it's all separated out. But, you know, every year we audit them, and we do that to help them grow in their position, not to try to call them out on anything, but just to help them grow in their position. And the ones I talked to, I think we're going to see a lot of good audits come back before this board in a couple of months when that does come before us. But, you know, just thank you to all the bookkeepers out there who do it day in and day out. And now they can kind of, well, nope, they'll still be stressed out. So now that school is open. So, and also I would like to thank Mr. Chambers, Ms. Card, Ms. Demers, Dr. Smith, Mr. McElroy, Mr. Meyer, Ms. Gearing, the City of Crestview, the Okaloosa County Board of Commissioners, Anderson Columbia, DOT, for being, in my opinion, proactive instead of reactive to a situation that could have been a nightmare for the school district. And I say a nightmare for the school district because all of those entities that I spoke of have they're not focused on what we do as far as opening schools and getting kids in the lines and all that. They're focused on building a roundabout, and they're focused on building a bypass so we can have it open before our new school opens up. So there's a lot of things going on at one time. But of course, we know that the school district would be the one that would get the calls. Why are you doing the roundabout now? Why are you even building a roundabout? About a month ago, I approached the superintendent, Mr. Meyer, saying, hey, I think we need to be proactive. And not only were they proactive, the school, the district, everybody came together. I know on one particular day, all of us were standing out there on that ramp in the heat, talking about how we were going to funnel these people onto Whitehurst Lane. But not only did we do that, but the school district took it one step further and did a video production to show people how it works. And I think the response that we got off of that probably helped make the situation a lot better today. Now, probably wasn't perfect, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So I would just like to personally thank the superintendent and all of those that I mentioned for helping make this situation. And like he said, today and tomorrow are probably going to be challenges. It's probably going to rain this afternoon at Antioch. That will make it even worse. You know, it always rains at Antioch on the first day. But after we get it under control, it will work just as smooth as possible. So, but again, we just ask for grace and compassion throughout this week when it comes to transportation, dropping off and picking up your kids, anything that is going to happen this week. Just have grace and compassion, because I can promise you that our best interest is taking care of those kids and making sure they're safe and they're getting the optimal learning experience that they can get. Thank you, Dr. White.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Mr. Destin.
Chairman, I only have a couple light things, and I'll just save them for tonight.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, so that takes us through board members' announcements, and what I would add is what we've all said numerous times. Welcome back to all of our schools. We appreciate everything that they've done to prepare for this year, and for the faculty and the parents and everyone involved, including certainly the administration and all the efforts that you've made. We just want them to have a great 25-26 school year. All right, that takes us to item 14. That will be public comment. And then we come to adjournment and no public hearings tonight. All right, so anything else, Mr. McInnes? Good here, superintendent, staff? All right. How about association, any business? All right, colleagues, you're all good? All right, this workshop is adjourned.